drug factory. They bust the factory for Ijebu-Ede. We thank God say not before East this kind thing for happen. Like say na East, now this thing happen. Ha. APC government, they don't touch this thing. They will don't change narrative. They will say now people will come from one particular place of Nigeria. Now then they spoil Nigeria. Now then they spoil the country. See now, the biggest factory so far of drugs so far to be discovered in Africa, say, oh, now for that particular place for East. But no, this one they happen gone for Ijebu-Ede. So who we want come blame now? Who we want come point finger to now say na you do am? You know, people know what they happen. They just they beat around the bush. When you get Oga Kpata when we say na inside the thing, na himself dey as president. All this obvious now. All these things go they happen. Make we just pray before this man come up for office. Make Nigeria not become like Colombia or Mexico. Make we even get country self when we say call Nigeria. Because the way things they go for Nigeria, if this man remain for power for another 4 years, now God now go save that country. Make I not waste my time, make I look the video.
Now let's take another story. In a shocking new report, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency revealed on Wednesday that they just took down the largest meth lab ever discovered in Nigeria, run by a Nigerian and Mexican drug cartel. The spokesman for the NDLEA, Femi Babafemi, released a video showing the moment the Nigerian and Mexican cartel members were busted. Let's take a look. Well, kudos to the NDLEA. Well, a meth lab in a remote forest in Ijebu, Ogun State. Sorry. Run by Nigerians and Mexicans. This isn't small time. This is the largest meth operation ever discovered in Nigeria. The NDLEA says they spent months gathering intelligence before the raid. They didn't just hit the lab. They also arrested Anochili Innocent, the alleged mastermind, at his home in Lakawe. International drug cartels setting up shop in Nigeria forests. That's the reality at this point. This major drug bust comes as the commander of the United States Africa Command, General Dagvin Anderson, made a shocking revelation that a 35-ton shipment of cocaine from South America valued at $1 billion was caught on its way to West Africa. Speaking on Tuesday before the Armed Services Committee, he went on to state that terrorists are also using drug trafficking to make money to run their operation. Let's take a look.
There was a interdiction based on some intelligence that we were able to provide that the Spanish interdicted a shipment of cocaine that was 35 tons of cocaine. We believe that's about $1 billion of street value. We believe that's the largest interdiction in history. That came out of South America. It was transiting along the west coast of Africa. And so we're seeing more of that drug trafficking coming in, and the terrorist organizations are helping transit that. They're getting payments through that, and there's a symbiotic relationship that money then comes back to our hemisphere, to those drug cartels, but also helps provide fuel for those terrorists. Another area that I think is important to highlight is that in the last 18 to 24 months, we have assisted in, or at least tipped off many partner nations to drug activities and labs in their country. In this time, 11 of the 12 drug labs that have been interdicted have had Mexican cartel members on site.
Bimbai, these comments come on the heels of America's growing presence here in Nigeria in a bid to confront insecurity alongside the Nigerian government. But these revelations about the billion-dollar drug trade between South America and West Africa shed light into how sophisticated these networks have become. And you know, that first video that I, highlighted in Ijebu, Ode, Ogun State. Yes, it was.
Because there are plenty Ijebus. I didn't hear Ijebu. It's not my own.
Okay, so I should be looking at you. Mexicans and Nigerians. This was so huge. Everybody, I'd love your comments. Again, kudos to the NDLEA, but I'd like for you to tie it in with, of course, the revelation.
This is not the foreign direct investment we want in Ogun State.
What a very serious issue.
Yes,
this is a very serious issue. I mean, OJ, I was in awe. I think I watched the video twice or three times because I couldn't understand the magnitude of this operation. 500 billion naira worth of industrial drug making happening in a forest in Ogun State. Just put that mentally, just try and calculate that. I'm a big fan of the Netflix series Narcos, where they document Pablo Escobar and all of those narcos, heavy hitters from South America. And the way they move money and the way they do. This looked a lot like, I'm sorry to stereotype, it looked a lot like a scene out of Colombia. And you ask yourself, how did we get to this point where, because 480 billions worth of transaction is not money you can just hide. It's not money you can move in duffel bags. It's not money. It's going through the system. Where is it going? And now I love the link with this conversation around South American links to West Africa with regards to terrorism funding and so forth, because it validates the argument that's constantly being made around the ideology of a lot of these terrorist movements is that they're trying to get to the Atlantic. What happens when they get to the Atlantic? They have easy access to be able to traffic not just drugs, but also weapons and human beings. So we're really in a very, very dangerous precipice here when they've been allowed to grow to this huge scale of production. There's also distribution. This implicates a lot of agencies and a lot of institutions because you can't just do this in a bubble alone. So congratulations, kudos to NDLEA because this is a very significant bust. When you read the details around how there was surveillance and then how they were able to capture these guys and so forth, fantastic move. But yesterday we'd highlighted mining and like Rufai rightfully said, that mining has been going on for a long time, but it was never hijacked by terrorist activity in the way we're seeing now. Now we ask ourselves, what other illegal and illicit trade is happening to fuel and fund terrorism? The president spoke at was represented by a former governor of Ogun State, Chief Oshoba, yesterday at an ADECO event. And Chief Oshoba was saying that, the president said I should tell you that insecurity is being fueled by people who are unhappy that he removed subsidy and people who are unhappy about exchange rate and so forth. And I just say to myself that it seems that there's a profile around what we've said are the people fueling insecurity. Because when you also listen to the words of Senate President Godzo Lakpabio, I'll round up now, who says that, it's by our opposition. It seems they know the people behind this thing, because you can't tell me that this magnitude of operation existed. God knows what the money is being used for, and we don't know who's behind it.
And God knows where else they could be operating.
What other forests where they're hiding with foreign nationals.
I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Oji, I know we have to go to the next slide, but please, I'm afraid because I don't know if people are saying what I'm scared for this country. With this kind of magnitude of drug, Oji, these drug cartels will form their militia.
Yes.
We don't know who they are connected to, maybe Sinaloa or any cartel. We don't know who their exit ecosystem busts are, people that are taking the drugs out. We don't know who their local collaborators are. So NDLEA, kudos, but the job is not complete. We don't know where the ties. Oji, there is no how that a 480 billion, which is a sizable part of this nation's economy, something like this is happening, and there are no big backers. If we can't track that, then just imagine when they now start to bring in weapons and they form territory around that area. We are dealing with insecurity on one hand, kidnapping, then we are dealing with drugs. Then when you now start having scenarios where the perpetrators of this crime, the kidnappers, start to mix and form local militias for these people, and they start to act as fronts.
problem.
See what is happening in Mexico.
Yeah.
The drug cartel, they have proper ammunition when they fight the governments.
All right.
They can't even surprise them. See what is happening in the favelas in Brazil. Oji, I am super scared for this country. Add drugs to the cocktail. It's on steroids.